Hi guys, thanks for coming to paint with me today. It's really cool that you took some time to set aside to create. We're going to get right down to creating this colorful sunset paradise that you selected. I'm going to start by taking the large brush we provided and dip that in the water just a little bit to get our bristles wet, dab it off onto the napkin, and we're going to start at the top of our canvas. So we're going to take the blue color we provided, load our brush with blue, and go right on into the top of the canvas here. Kind of drag your brush across. I'm going to do a thin coat for our bottom layer of this painting. If you find that your paint isn't spreading well, you can dip it in just a little bit of water. Just dip your brush in a little bit of water and add it to the paint on the canvas. It'll kind of spread it out a little bit. And don't forget, if it looks like your brush is dry, it probably is. So we want to load some more paint on. And you can paint your sky however you like, but we're going to go by the painting you selected. And I'm just going to give a little bit of top band of blue on your canvas. You have the blue. Don't worry about any paint lines. If you're sensitive about the paint lines, you can come back in with another coat and it'll go right away. Go straight across with our blue. So we're going to change gears a little bit and we're going to go right down to the bottom of our canvas. So we got the top part. And the bottom of our canvas, we're going to get a little creative now that we got our brush wet. And I like to, what I call doodle, just kind of have fun with my canvas. Every canvas I do, I want to manifest some good energy into that canvas. Anything that I'm thinking about, I want to accomplish, or any feelings that I'm having when I'm painting that, I can just take and jot down on the bottom layer of my canvas. When I look at it later, I know it's there. Nobody else does, unless you want it to pop through, and I can show you how to do that. So what I look at in here is I want to manifest some happiness. So I'm going to write the word happiness right out here. It doesn't have to be perfect. And of course, feel free to pick your own words that you want to manifest in your life. I got some happiness manifesting. Almost like when you're little, and you know that feeling that you would get when you would sit there and look at that birthday candle and you think real hard what you were going to wish for. I don't like doing that. Just on a painting. I'm going to wish for happiness. Maybe I'll come in with a little bit of red. I can clean my brush. Oh, kind of cool with the red and the blue mixing. And how about everybody wants success? Come in. Whoop. You want to hold on to the brush, not a halt. Yeah, just paint the word success. That's what I want to manifest too. And what else? I like to manifest love. Y'all need more love. I'm not going to write the word love. I'm just going to draw some hearts to symbolize love. Just anywhere that I feel like I want a heart. A little bit of doodling. You see, we're having fun. We're not worried about staying in any lines. We're not worried about messing up. Just manifesting some good vibes into our canvas. And we can do all kinds of brush shapes. I like to do spirals to symbolize growth. Do some spirals right around here. Going right on over all of my words. Got some good doodles down here. We're going to cover all that up later. But it's pretty cool. Kind of experiment on the canvas with color. Anytime you create, never be afraid to try something new. Never be afraid to mess up. Just get into the groove painting. So the next color in our sky, feel free if you want to doodle on the whole canvas, you can. And just color it up over in your layers. I'm going to load my brush with the red paint. What's our next color band? We're going to go right here. Go in with our red. And I'll show you how to blend this color to make the transition from blue to red a little bit more natural. Now let's get our red color down in our sky. Painting the sky red. Taking long strokes back and forth across the canvas. There's no wrong way to do this. All right, I think that's about all I want for the red stripe. If you wanted to continue your red stripe down a little further, you certainly could. Let me rinse my brush of the red just a little bit. I'm going to come in and grab a little bit more of the blue we started out with at the top. I'm going to take the blue and run it right alongside the red. Do that again. And you can also see when you're coming back in with this blue, the second coat of paint adds a little bit more coverage to your canvas, really solidifies that color that you're looking for. While we have the blue on our canvas and our brush, it's wet, I'm going to take in, dip right into the red border. And we're going to kind of just slowly drag the blue down into the red. It's going to make like a purple band. I'm going to just come down into the red a little bit, and then I'm going to come back up into the blue just to see that the color is blending. By going back and forth, and blend that color right into each other. See a little bit of a purple there. I'm going to rinse the brush really, really well. Don't want any of that purple when I go back in for my red. Blot all that excess color out on a pretty dry brush when you go back in with your red. I'm going to go back in with my red. I'm going to come right in under the purple line. A little bit more red. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make the red come up into the purple a little bit. Just going to drag that back and forth. Doing that little bit of a blended color. If you wanted to add some more blue, make it a little bit more purple to the red, you can certainly do that right here. If you wanted to have your sky a little bit more purple, just take some blue on your brush, blend it right on into the red. See that magic? We are making colors. It's fun, right? Yeah, you can play around with that for a little bit. Blend in the purple into the blue into the red. And when you're satisfied with the color scheme going on, got going on up there, I'm going to go into our next color. Rinse my brush real well. The next color in our sky is a pink color. So I'm going to get a red near the bottom of the band of red. We're going to paint it red again. We want our color to be wet so that we can blend it. And how you make pink, we didn't provide that color, but it's really easy to make. Just add white to the red. So one of two things, we can mix it right on the canvas, which is my favorite part. Or we can mix it on the palette to a nice color that you're comfortable with, that you like. It's going to look good on your canvas. So we'll do both. So if you're doing it on your palette, you want to take a little bit of red, just the tiniest bit of red, and grab some white. And you want to mix those together so you get the pink color you're looking for. And now that you got your pink color, you want to mix a little bit of this color. You have a little bit that you can go back in and grab if you run out of paint on your brush. I got a good pink color that I like. I'm going to come right in. I'm just going to put my pink down right here. I'm going to paint the pink band just halfway because I'm going to show you how to also just take that white and start right on the canvas with the color blending. All right, so we got this pink. I'm going to rinse my brush only to show you how to just do it on the canvas. I'm going to grab the white. And I have no red on the brush. I'm just going to take the white right up into the red. And as you can see, we get pretty much the same effect as we gradually mix the white with the red. We're right at the same pink color that we made on the palette. Whatever way works for you, you can easily make it on your canvas or your palette. And the more you art, the easier it becomes to make colors, experiment with colors, and you find your own style. I encourage everybody, even after this class, pick up a paintbrush, don't be afraid, create something, hang it on your wall, be proud of it. All right, so I got our pink part of our sky going on. Our red kind of got a little small. We can adjust that later. This is just our bottom layer. Paintings have layers. I'm going to clean my brush, and now we're going to go right into that yellow sky. So we have, I'm not going to take it all the way across like we were doing at the top. I'm going to follow the lines provided of the mountains in the background. Just going to kind of go right along with that outline. Color in the sky yellow. I'm going to avoid painting the sun shape, but if you want to paint the sun shape yellow, you can. You can always come back in when the paint dries and paint over that color. Paint is very forgiving that way. You see something on your canvas you don't like now, wait for that layer to dry, go right over it with another color. It may take a couple coats, but it would disappear like it never happened. Well, we got our yellow sky coming right on in. Our sky's kind of coming together. You can still see the lines we provided through the yellow. Yellow is a good color to go see through. More of our sheer color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the line between the yellow and the pink not as sharp just by dragging some yellow up into the pink like we did with our previous colors. Then I'm also going to take some of the pink I still have left on my palette. And if you don't have pink left on your palette, you can take some red and white and mix it, or you can take some red right on your brush here, draw a line on the canvas, take some white right on the canvas, mix it. And kind of providing like a salmony orange when you mix the pink and the yellow together. It's kind of pretty. And this is our first part of our sky, first layer. If you can certainly say, hey, I like this layer, I don't want to touch anything. I see some things that I don't quite like about my sky right now, bothering me. I want to fix it. So I'm going to go back up here to this red. It's a little streaky, so I'm going to just give it another coat. Probably dry. You find that your paint kind of start to cover a little better with second and third layers. If it's not dry, you may want to wait and come back a little later. Put another layer of paint down on that. We'll probably revisit the red too. All right, so let's clean our brush, all the red paint. And now we're going to come in and with the black, do our mountain line there, add some contrast to our picture. You can see where things are starting to develop. So you have the lines there provided for you. If you want to follow them, you certainly can. If you want to make your own mountains, by all means, get creative, be free with it, be brave with it. So mountains are very forgiving shape. Basically, triangles, identify peaks and plateaus. Color that in. So we see our mountains, our silhouette of mountains on our sunset. I don't know about you, but I like feeling the sun on my face. As I look at the ocean out into the horizon, I can see the mountains. You feel the air blowing. Sometimes it's fun to put yourself into the painting that you're painting. Just get lost with the feeling. Not worrying about what bills you need to pay or where the kids need to be. Just worrying about what color you make things. It's great. Also, notice we started some palm trees in the horizon here. And I'm just going to continue with what we have going on in the horizon by making the trunks of the trees right now. We provided the lines for you. Just a little palm tree there, lives there. Another one lives here. Can't really mess up. If you do, you can paint over it, no worries. And now that we have our mountains painted in, I'm gonna come down here and pay our painting a little attention through the water. Now, this is where our doodles happened, manifesting greatness down here in this water. And show you how to bring that water in your manifestations to life. So I wash my brush of the black. I don't want no black right now on my brush for this next part of the water. I'm gonna come in. The water mainly looks blue. You do see some red and purple hues, and I'll show you how to do that. What we're gonna do is load our brush with blue, and we're just gonna go right along the mountain line that we have with our blue paint. And go right over words, the doodles that you painted. It's okay. Water at the bottom, just with our blue. And you can still see the words popping through at the bottom. I think it's cool. You want to leave them showing through the paint, you certainly could. And if you don't want anybody else to know it's there, 2 coats will probably cover it up. I think it's another added texture element to your painting, something to catch your eye. Popping through, draw your viewer into your masterpiece. Like, what is that shape? What does that say? Does that say something? It's always cool to see what other people think or feel about your painting. Something that you may not even plan for somebody to think or feel about it. And then when they do, it's like, wow. We're basically covering the bottom part with our blue. And right now the water looks pretty boring. We're just gonna have blue water. But we're not. I'm gonna get real creative with this water. So we have a sunset here. So sunsets reflect light off of the water. So we're gonna definitely show you how to reflect some light off of this water. Color bottom blue, all of our bottom colored in. Because right now, just kind of washing blue color at the bottom. And if you can see, when you add water to this paint, it makes it a little thinner, more transparent. So you can see that bottom layer popping through if you'd like. You keep it popping through. You can keep it there. Great, so I did that pretty fast. If you need to pause the video, catch up, certainly do so. If not, we are going to move right along into our horizon, our mountains where the water meets. I'm going to take a little bit of our blue and just a smidge of black, kind of blend them together and give me a darker blue. I'm just going to go right up onto that mountain line, right where it meets the water. I'm going to come in with that darker blue to give an added color, show some shadowing where the light isn't hitting, where the mountains are hiding the light from the sun. That's behind them onto the water. We got that blue shade right there. Like a gray blue. Just kind of drag your brush, blend that color in a little bit with the original blue. And the goal here is to kind of not have a stark line, just like a line that is made with different shades of color. I'm going to rinse our brush. And while our blue is still wet, I'm going to come in with a red. We do see some red in our water, some shades of purple. It's going to be fun. And a lot of times in this very still water, it's almost like a mirror. So it kind of reflects the sky and anything around it. So if this was still water, we could do a reflection of the top of the painting and the bottom. So we can show you how to do that. So the next color in our water, we're going to go in with some red and kind of make a purpley color. You'll do that just by adding red to the blue. And there's no wrong way to do this, not at all. Just kind of brush some paint on the canvas here until you like what you see. If you get something on the canvas and you don't like what you see, you just wait for that layer to dry, come back in and fiddle with it until you like what you see. I'm just adding a little bit of red paint here and there to kind of give the water a little bit of texture. Blending some of it to make it more purple. Some areas I'm going to leave a little bit more red. And if you find that your areas aren't staying red, you can always wait for this blue layer to dry. Once it's dry, that red will not blend with the blue, and you'll have a little bit more distinction with your color. I've got some red going on top of my blue. I think I'm going to let that dry a little bit. I'm going to come into the bottom here, painting. Yeah, I think I want to take some white. And just come in here. So this is, white is like an eraser, because your canvas originally started white. So if you come in with the white, it's almost like erasing with a pencil if you were drawing. So you can just come in with the white. I'll show you how to cover up your doodles if you don't want them popping through. I'm just going to kind of put some white right here. You know how to erase those lines. Oh, wait. The line went right away. Short strokes. I'm going to let that dry. If you did want your doodles to show through, by all means, just do a thin coat of paint. If it's looking too thick, you can add some water right in. Bring those doodles right back out. You know, let the bottom part dry, venture right back up to our sky at the top. I think what we are missing here is some highlights in the sky. I'm going to take just the littlest bit of white, not too much, on our brush. And I want to make sure the brush is pretty dry with a little bit of paint, a little bit of white paint, and we're just going to come in and add some just dry strokes of white. To give our sky a little bit of texture going on. Now that we got the littlest, slightest bit of white, I'm going to wet my brush, rinse most of that white paint out, dab it a little bit, just a little bit, because I still want thin white coming out of my brush. And I'm just going to glide that across the white that we left in the sky. Dip it again. Glide that right across the white that we had. I'm making some clouds, some color variations in our There's sky, because if you ever looked up at the sky, not just all one color, there's color variations, there's clouds. Right. Good. Different areas of color in our painting. You can play with this for hours and hours until you find that you like what you have. I'm going to go back in with the red because it's still a little streaky for me. Just kind of solidify my red color here in a couple areas. All right, so we have our sunset sky looking pretty good. I'm going to visit the sun, the actual sun we have here. In the painting, it's depicted as white, so we'll go ahead in with white, kind of make our sun shape. Follow the line that we provided. If you covered up your line, it's okay. Just like a frowny face when you make a smiley face, and it's upside down. So the frowny face right between our mountain peaks. And it doesn't look like you're painting with a color at this point, but you are. Just kind of watch where your brush is going. If you get white somewhere, it's okay. We can cover it up. It just takes a couple coats to cover white up. All right, so we painted our sun white. You can leave your sun white if you like. I'm going to add us a little bit of yellow to the outside just to kind of give it a little bit of added a little bit of interest, kind of blend it in. And you could make around the sun a little lighter in color to depict that it's shining. To do that, you could just take a little bit of white right around the edge of the sun. I'm going to drag it back and forth. I'm going to pick up that yellow. And just the slightest hue of difference. And I'm going to rinse my color off my brush, so no white on the brush. And come back in. I think that the water down here is dry. It is. And come back in with some blue. Really give like a second coat of blue down here. You'll see in the second coat, just like in the sky, really starts to take a good color. Nice bright blue. I'll just add that in wherever I want to. My world. Different places I want to add that solid blue color in. You see, when you're adding the second layer, it does help hide the doodles. You're worried about them showing. I don't want anybody to know your secret manifestations. Layer it up. If you want them to pop through, have them pop through. And see, I'm going to go right in with the blue, going over white. It kind of takes on a different color. That's another way to make a different color, by adding white under a color. You can get a different color. I like this color that this is making down here. A little bit of blue. Right. As you can see down towards the bottom, can't really see what we painted earlier. And I'm gonna clean that color off. I do want to go right into my red and really grab a nice bright red just to give another layer to the water. I'm just gonna pick some places here and there to add my red. You can see now that the blue is dry, not blending in, and it remains that nice red color. You can pick where you want your red. Whatever speaks to you. There's no wrong way to add this color to the water. As you bring your brush down, and you can even see that bottom blue is still wet, and you can make it even different color with the red and that lighter blue. It's just fun experimenting with colors on your canvas. Also, I want to go right back up to our mountains and kind of depict a little bit of sunlight hitting them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take just a little bit of white and a little bit of yellow and mix them together with a nice light yellow. I'm just going to take and put that a little bit onto the sides of the mountain by the sun that the light might be hitting just a little bit. To give it some added texture. Your eyes kind of see that, oh, that might be a rocky surface because light's hitting at different places. And there's no wrong way to do that, as you can see, kind of dancing all over the canvas with a little bit of yellow. The yellow is transparent over the black, so that doesn't look like completely like a yellow. This looks like a lighter, grayer version of a yellow. So I'm gonna bring back in our palm trees that we kind of painted over. If you can't see your lines, don't panic. This is not rocket science. I'm gonna go right into our black. Still gonna keep the big brush because they're pretty big palm trees. If you can't see it, don't worry. I'm going to pick where I want my first palm tree. And I kind of still see my lines, so I'm just gonna go right in where I had my lines and just draw a straight line. If you can't draw a straight line, draw whatever line comes out. I can't draw a straight line, so you can't draw a straight line. Okay. And we're going to pick what thickness we want our palm tree to look like. I'm just drawing a line. Generally, in nature, the tree is a little fatter or thicker at the bottom. You want to make the line a little thicker at the bottom. And here we have our first palm tree stalk. And then we got a little baby palm tree. And I covered his line up too. So I'm going to pick where I want the little baby palm tree to live. I'm going to draw him in. Doing the same type of principle, bringing down the tree Again, just a little wider at the bottom here. All right, so we got our palm tree stalks. And now, palm trees, they got these leaves. They're fun to make. Don't panic. It's not that hard to make a palm tree. So what we're going to do is just pick a place on our canvas where we think a palm tree leaf would stretch out. And it's almost like the same shape that you made with your sun when you drew it in. I'm just going to repeat that shape until I like how my palm tree looks. I'm going to pick an area to start, just drag my brush right to there. That's a good palm tree shape for me. I'll do another one up here. Another one here. There. Okay, so that's kind of like the outline of the palm tree shape. And then what we do with a palm tree shape is we're gonna get our brush, some more black, and we're just gonna kind of come in and go back and forth like this, making a palm tree leaf. Almost looks like a feather. I'm gonna do that all over. Just zigzaggy lines right around that line you made initially. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is art. You can see I am doing this very haphazardly because that's what's fun about it. Just like let go, start creating. This is your palm tree. You get to choose what it looks like. Don't worry about if you mess it up. This dries, we can fix it anytime. Got a palm tree shape coming in. Middle, you can just fill in. And got these zigzaggy lines. Here we go, one palm tree down, a couple more to go. We're going to do the same thing with our little guy down here, just not as big. I'm going to take palm tree leaf number 1, bring it here. Do another leaf right here. One coming up, one down, and one right here. Why not? And then we'll just go ahead and do the little zigzaggy lines back and forth with our brush, just to create that variegated edge that we know palm trees have. All right, this palm tree, going on down here. And don't forget about our little palm trees all the way over here, way in the horizon. For this detail, I'm going to switch my brush. The little brush that we provided you with some black, and draw our little palm tree leaves. Real quick like we did before. Before you know it, you're going to be experts at the palm trees. I encourage you, maybe paint your own palm trees on another painting, manifest some more greatness. Kind of dab around the lines, just making a little suggestion of a palm tree leaves back there. And we're going to rinse the brush. I'm gonna come in with some highlights going on in our water, on our palm trees, kind of saying the same thing, kind of the same concept that we did with our mountains. Just want to show where the light is hitting. So what we're going to do is take a little brush and we're going to take a little bit of the white and a little bit of the yellow. Kind of mix that just to get that a little bit of a golden color. Don't want all white. A nice pale yellow would be appropriate. And it's the slightest tint of yellow, and I'm going to come in and show where the light is hitting on our palm tree. I kind of want to make sure that the stalk of the tree is dry, so we get a nice clean white line for our light. And what we can do is just take find a spot on the tree, drop our brush, and then just drag it down. Don't worry about it being perfect. So create interest in your painting if the line varies. I'm going to make a little bit of an executive decision to have a little bit of white showing up there. If you find you dip your brush into an area that has wet paint still and your white becomes black, don't worry, just dip your brush in the water, rinse that black out, and go back in for that yellow white that you made, that color, and just find another area that needs some light hitting it. So this little palm tree down here, I'm gonna put some light on that. Also going to put some light in the water. Our tree leaves are still a little wet, so we won't really get that little clean white color that we're looking for at this moment, but our water is definitely dry down here. I'm going to switch brushes though. I'm in with my larger brush for the highlights of the water. Make sure I got all the black out of the brush that we were using before. You don't want to contaminate your color. Rinse it out real good, blot it. It's not going to be perfect, but if you're blotting your brush dry and you see a little bit of color, it's fine. The color that you choose to put on the brush next will usually cover that right up. And I'm going to come in and just pick some areas where I need some highlights. So I see that the sun is going to probably shine through here, through this mountain area here. So I'm just going to pick this area. Just give it a little bit of a highlight here. Just to reflect that that's what's going on with the sun. And of course, some other areas might be catching some of the light that's bouncing off some other areas. And your paint might be almost gone off of your brush. This is one of my favorite techniques called a dry brush technique. And you can just kind of rub the little bit of color that's left on your brush into areas of your painting. You can go back in with the drier brush and blend in some of that white paint you put down just a moment ago. You kind of see that you got a little bit of texture to your water, indicating that the sunlight is shining through into your water. And maybe your island has some birds in the sky. So I'm going to go back to my black little and load my little brush with the black paint and just do some little birds. These birds, I know you remember these birds, probably did them when you were kids. You're just little, almost M's. So let's just pick a good area where we're gonna have some birds. I like to vary the size of the birds in the painting. That way the smaller ones look like they're further away, the larger ones are closer to us, just like with the palm trees. I'm gonna pick a little area. I'm gonna draw a little bird. They're not perfect shapes. Maybe this one will be a little bigger. He's closest to us. I like the number 3. I think I'm gonna leave it at 3 birds. 3 little birds, happy in the sky. There we are. They're on a voyage. I'm gonna rinse that black out, dab my brush, and I'm gonna go right back in to mix a little bit more of the yellow and white for our highlights in our palm tree leaves. You can see that they're almost dry. So I'm gonna go right in and give that just a little bit of light. And just pretend that we know where the light might hit on these guys. And if you put the light somewhere and it doesn't ring right to you, you can always paint over it with the black again and start over. Just kind of showing where the light might be hitting on from the sun. Give our palm trees not that flat look. There is shape to this little guy that is on this island. Yeah, you'll just kind of see where you might want to put more light. If you want to put light at all, some of you guys might just like your silhouette of your palm tree, and that's fine too. I'm gonna go back in here, pick some areas. I have the sunlight hitting them. And this little guy down here. And if you feel like it's too much of the yellow, kind of doing that one, I'm just gonna go right in with the black and just show you how to easily cover some of that up, mix it in, make it a little bit less stark. And get a little bit more interesting colors popping out of the painting. With a little bit of yellow. Here, remember yellow is that transparent color. You can just kind of paint right over stuff. And you'll still see what's underneath of it. It just adds that extra shade to your painting, extra hue. And give an area of interest up in that palm tree. Also going to repeat the yellow coming down the stalk just a little bit. And we'll start to see how that, let's add that little bit of yellow, kind of warms up our palm trees. Well, I got the little brush in the yellow. I'm going to definitely come over here. Just take my time just to put a little slight highlight on palm trees living out on our horizon. Just on the trunks. You can kind of play around with final touches on your painting, seeing where more light might be shining. You may want to take and add a little bit of yellow back to the mountains, just to kind of see where the light's shining back there. I'll put in light. You think it might pop through. Blend some with your finger if you like. You can even bring the yellow down here in the water a little bit. Just a little, kind of bring out the sky that's at the top of the painting. When you are designing, painting, repetition and with your color, just to bring it to a complete piece helps. And it helps your eye kind of follow all around the canvas versus just staying stuck in one place. And it's fun. So we put some little highlights of yellow in. And we kind of just want to look at our painting and see, is there any areas that we want to attend to, any areas that are bothering you. You want to add anything. You can even add words to this layer if you wanted, little message. Anything you want. It's your painting. I always encourage everybody to be free on your canvas. Don't hesitate. You can always paint over it if you don't like it. We would love to see how these turned out. So if you are social media, we sent in a little card along with your supplies. Hashtag us, post it. I always am curious to see how my virtual studios turned out, and we love, love, love the feedback. So I hope you enjoyed painting with us today. You took time out to get creative. Give yourself a pat on the back for doing that, working out your right brain muscle. And until next time, I hope you enjoyed. Take care. Oh yeah, and that hashtag we were talking about is hashtag Coleman Events.